And Bill, why don't you come a little closer here? Whoops. Bill was originally born in Norristown, but where do you live now, Bill? Collegeville?
Perkiomenville.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get a little mixed up. Once I get up there, I'm never sure which town comes after the other one.
I was born in a row house, and I'm still running.
And where were you born?
In the West End, 511 Noble Street.
Oh, boy. Well, there's a plug for 511
Yep.
Noble Street. And Bill is a great cook, I know, because I work with Bill, and every lunchtime, we usually have lunch about the same time, we discuss cooking. So this is one of his favorite meals he's going to make for you today. What's the title of the dish?
I just call them turkey burgers. It's
That's real difficult, isn't it?
It's a concoction that I've dreamed up over a couple of years of trial and error that my family enjoys, and so do I.
Okay. Now, jump in there and start, and we'll talk as we go and see what's happening.
The main ingredient is a pound of turkey burger.
That's interesting.
Isn't that bizarre?
And I see you bought that in your local grocery store.
Yes, it's already measured, and just drop it in there.
Yeah.
Then, let's see. Another major ingredient, I take a 8-ounce package of mushrooms and dice them up.
The whole mushroom, the big ones?
I get them sliced,
Ones?
but whatever, as long as they end up this size is cool. So
that's like,
yeah.
half of a half.
So we've got the 8 ounces of mushrooms in here. Then I take a cup and a half of onions, diced nicely.
Is that like
These are
onions?
Valdalia onions. It's one Valdalia onion about yay big.
They're real popular these days.
They're delicious.
They're really sweet. They're almost not, old onions I think they changed the strain of onions lately and renamed them. I remember Bermuda onion was one of those, and now today that's a yellow onion. And
well, I believe the Valdalia onion it comes from down south, and they used to be pretty
Georgia?
popular
Yeah.
down there. And I know they seem to be seasonal up here too. You have them in the summertime, and in the dead of winter they disappear.
They're very soft too. When
They're
I worked
nice.
for the clothing manufacturer, Gordon of Philadelphia, we had a plant in Georgia. And periodically somebody would go down for whatever reason and come back, and they bring these big bags of Vidalia onions that they divvied up among all the management, and everyone always waited and fought over the very last one.
Excellent onions. Okay, now we have a cup and a half of celery, diced up to the approximate size as the onions.
It smells so great in here already, and nothing's even cooking except, well, we do have a finished dish in the oven, but what I'm smelling is the raw onions and celery and...
Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision in here.
Yeah.
Then I have a half of a cup of diced fresh tomatoes that go in here. You're going to wonder, does the turkey really play any part in this recipe? And it does.
It's the meat.
Yes. Okay.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
In your family, you have 2 children?
Yes.
Okay. And your wife and one daughter doesn't eat?
They don't eat beef or pork.
But your son and you eat everything?
We'll eat anything that doesn't bite back. Okay.
You should hear some of the meats we talk about sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, now I have approximately, what did I put in here? A cup and a half of breadcrumbs, unseasoned.
You know what happens? I ask people to be on the show, and they say, yeah. And then they go, I don't know how much stuff I put in that recipe. So Bill did a trial run yesterday.
I had to be coherent for a change, and not just play by ear. I had to sit down and calculate and analyze how much ingredients I really did put in. So
okay, what
pretty
about,
sure.
You have any?
Let's see, let me look at my notes here. Yeah, 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, so I'm good there. Now, we take teriyaki sauce. Doesn't have to be Kikkoman's, but I seem to prefer that. We use 3 tablespoons of Kikkoman's teriyaki sauce. 1, 2, 3.
Do I remember, do you hunt a lot?
I used to.
You used to.
It's gotten too dangerous. There's too many crazies out there, so you run a real good chance of getting shot. So I gave it
That's
up.
dangerous, isn't it?
Well,
to one's health.
anytime you have crazy people and guns mixing together, it is very dangerous. Okay.
But you grew strange animals like that. Not grew, what do you do with animals? Rabbits and stuff?
Yes, I did. And I used to raise chickens, turkeys, ducks, geese, rabbits.
But you don't raise them anymore?
I don't know. I gave that up
You gave that?
because it was a nice hobby, and if we ever have a nuclear winter, I know how to raise poultry. But I kind of gave that whole thing up. Okay, now we have parsley flakes. And probably,
You're really good. You measure them. I dump.
well, I had to get coherent, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You said
so
you
I'm
didn't have
doing
any
it.
idea.
Probably 2 teaspoons, 1.5 teaspoons of parsley flakes. There we go. Store brand's just as good. And we have celery seed, 1 teaspoon of celery seed.
Oh, that smells nice.
Okay.
All the spices make you a little stuffy, your nose, I know.
And last but not least, before we get into surgery, is 2 eggs.
I thought you could do that with one hand.
Nah, not unless you want to eat shells.
Oh, no, I don't think I do.
Okay, now
What are you ready for?
I'm going to need that glass dish close. I can get rid of this.
I'll take that.
Okay. I did wash my hands before I did this, so if there's any questions.
Very important.
Yes.
Well, I should mention, I said I work with Bill, but I didn't say where. Bill is a facilities director at the Colonnade in Schwenksville, which is an assisted living facility, and I'm in the activities department there, and everyone's always running around washing their hands.
Yes.
Always. I mean, it's
That's-
ongoing and it's important.
When you have people in a closed environment, such as an assisted living facility, or in a school like this, you want to wash your hands every chance you can to prevent the spread of colds and other viruses and bacteria.
Colds are bad enough now. There's even notes on doors, don't visit your relatives if you have a cold.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
there's
over.
airborne things too. So, now we're mixing. Normally I have a slightly larger bowl,
Yeah, well,
so it makes the mixing a little
that's
easier.
it. You have to make do with this.
Okay.
It smells great. How many of these could you eat at a sit down?
Probably 1,
Really?
because I usually serve it with,
Stuff.
yeah. One of the favorite things with this is asparagus, steamed asparagus.
He likes all the healthy foods, which is amazing. Good,
Yeah.
amazingly good. Because we work with some people that eat not too healthily. That's the word? They're not too healthy eaters, you know?
What was that?
You can only eat so many hoagies in a week, and
Okay. Yeah, I don't normally go for that kind of stuff.
I love hoagies. I'm the first to admit it, and Zeps, but I just don't eat them that much.
Yeah, Zeps are pretty much a Norristown thing.
Yeah, no lettuce. And they're built in a certain thing. It's, you know,
My family-
cooked salami,
Cooked salami, provolone cheese,
onions,
tomato, olive oil, and
oregano. But I heard somewhere that if you put the olive oil on almost
on the bread.
on the top near the tomatoes, it's better than near the meat, which is already greasy.
My family used to have a luncheonette right at Airy and Noble Street.
Airy and Noble.
It's
let
now a
me
little
see.
little flower shop.
I know where that is.
It's right across the street from Ray Hill's bar,
Oh.
if anyone knows. It used to be Valerio's when I lived there.
Okay. So you lived on the west end, like Noble Street, did you say?
Born and raised in that briar patch, yep. I still have some relatives that live there on Airy Street.
Bob once in a while, Bob, who's Bob?
I don't know.
Bill once in a while still comes to some of the annex he did as a child in Norristown.
Well, like I said before we started the show, the statute of limitations is probably passed.
It's not, to be honest, it's not as bad today with people with guns and all, but they used to do a lot of mischief, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
knocking on doors and soaping windows and throwing
I don't want to say
garbage
too much.
cans.
Someone might be listening
Yeah.
that remembers it and may come and get you. What's your thing? Now, you live in Perkiomenville.
Yes.
Perkiomenville is north of Schwenksville.
If anyone knows where Schwenksville is.
Everybody knows where Schwenksville is.
When I was a kid, we used to go up that way to go hunting. And it was out there. It was really out there at the time. I never thought I'd live up there.
So, and you went to camp up there, too, you said.
We used to go to the YMCA day camp, which is on the south side of Spring Mountain, which the old lodge is still there. I don't know who owns it now, but
I think people know Schwenksville because of the ski resort.
and then the folk
The
festival's
folk
there too.
festival, yeah.
So
One
as you
time-
see, I break this into 6 parts,
Mhm.
and
Now, will your wife and daughter eat this?
yes,
Oh, they will, okay.
it has to be cooked first, though.
Oh, of course. I even go along with
All
that.
right.
I even go along with that. I know people, what is it called, tartan? When they eat raw ground meat? It's not too good anymore to do that, but
I used to know a guy from East Norton, and he was, where's Beirut? Lebanese. Had some Lebanese ancestry. And we made this stuff called kibbeh one time, where it was ground meat that was continually pounded in a mortar with a mortar and pestle, and they added all kinds of herbs and spices. I can use the paper.
is that?
And we ate that raw,
Oh.
which was a wild new experience. And today I wouldn't even consider it with the E. coli and stuff that's in.
I had
And ground
tartan
meat.
once in New York. I thought I was in New York sitting eating this meal and all. But, I didn't like it very much. I'd rather have my hamburger cooked.
Everything's got a taste. Okay, so there's our
I'll take that.
burgers.
I'm in charge of dirty dishes.
Now, what I normally do is I top it with a slice of tomato. Normally in the wintertime, I don't eat tomatoes by themselves because they're horrible that you get in the supermarket. But I don't mind cooking them. They're not bad after you cook them, but
You mentioned when you went to camp and all. You had a brother?
yeah, I have a brother, John, and I have a cousin, Bill Carty. He lives over near Bishop Kenrick now. And we used to sell mints door to door to get enough money to go to camp.
Did you all go?
Yeah.
Your relatives must have had a lot of mints.
We used to go, like I say, door to door because we weren't the wealthiest people in the world.
Do you remember how many you had to sell to go?
I think 50 boxes.
Each.
Yeah, and back in those days, you could go to somebody's door and not expect to be killed or kidnapped. Like I tell my kids today, when I was a teenager, I could travel from one end of Norristown to the other at like 12 o'clock at night and feel safe.
I've heard that from many people, older than you
Yeah.
and younger than you. It wasn't, that's everywhere you go, though.
But I got chased by a German Shepherd one night
That was enough to cure you?
going up an alley, and I had to relieve myself, and I went in the garage, and the dog was there, and he started chasing me, and I put a couple fences between me and the dog, and I got away.
I would do that, too.
And then what I would do is top that with some Parmesan cheese, which
But
I
as
forgot to
always in
bring
a
with
rush
me.
to come to the show, we
Yes.
all always forget something.
So there you go.
Well, we won't have that, but
We put a 1/4 of an inch of water in there and bake it for an hour at 375. And there you go. Here's your turkey burgers.
not bad.
Okay.
They're the uncooked ones.
They're
We
the
wanna see
uncooked
the
ones.
cooked ones, you know? Whoops.
Watch, don't. You have pot holders, Betty?
Nah, my hands.
She's a tough woman.
We were talking about that the other day. How you can put yourself into a mindset and take any, pick up hot things.
As long as you know where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's the finished product.
Oh, wow, this is really, this has
Give you a
cheese
little
on it.
close-up. Yeah, this has the cheese on it. And like I said, they're very, very delicious.
I used to have, but I don't, a spatula. Can you want to put one out here
Sure.
so I can taste it?
And I wasn't a good cook when I was younger.
Well, tell them why you cook.
My wife doesn't. My wife hates to cook. She blew up hard-boiled eggs one time.
Does she wreck the rice?
No, she does pretty good as long as she pays attention to it. She's capable. She's just not willing.
Why would she want to cook? You can cook.
Right. So
You cook you're the everyday cook, aren't you?
normally,
Does you have another business?
yes, we redo furniture,
Like upholstering or
Yes.
wood or?
upholstery. You want me to give a plug?
Sure, give it a plug.
It's
Tell 'em
called
who you-
Lynn's Upholstery, and we've been in business for 18 years.
So that's almost your whole life.
Well,
huh?
I do that in the evening, and I do the sales and stuff in the evening.
Mhm.
And we have had many customers in Norristown.
Yeah, he came up to me the other day and said to me, "Oh, so-and-so said to say hello." And I said, I didn't figure out how he knew so-and-so. It was no big deal. Here he had done work for them.
Yeah, I get around.
You get around.
Yeah.
But this is really, really good. Could you do this with ground meat?
Sure. I've never tried it, but I'm sure it would work.
I think turkey meat is a little
It's
light. What do you want to call it?
it's
not a-
lighter. It doesn't have
Yeah.
the real strong taste. But you do taste the turkey in it.
Mhm. Doesn't taste like ground meat or chicken meat. Chicken.
Right. Well, I've done it with chicken too.
Now you would serve this with asparagus?
Asparagus. Got a recipe off of TV for asparagus one time that was pretty good.
That's where you get some of the best recipes, believe it or not.
You steam it halfway and then you broil it with a little Parmesan on it, and then you top it with some marinara sauce, and it comes out really, really good.
But I know the internet also is a great place to have recipes.
Right.
You plug in a word like chocolate, maybe chocolate's the most used word around, and you'll see 11,000 recipes for
Well,
chocolate.
Yeah, I told Betty one time that I have some recipes in a company cookbook that we made, and I have one recipe for deep-fried Pennsylvania woodchuck, which it tastes pretty good. It's an acquired taste too.
You know, my thing with food, I really believe is, I'm the first to tell you, there's food I don't like because I've tasted it and I don't like it.
Right.
And then there's food that I don't like the idea of it. You know what I mean?
Like
Because
squirrels.
Squirrels, yeah.
Squirrels are good.
Anything like that.
Yes.
And it's really strange. It's what you get used to eating.
Right.
And every once in a while, I go sort of vegetarian for about 2
And,
days.
you
Not
know,
much more, but
You never know where life's going to lead you, and you never know what you're going to have to eat. So
oh,
you
wonderful.
can't turn your nose up.
Is that a wonderful thought, huh?
Right.
And is there, what, do you do anything else in your spare time? I know you go to shows with your son, who is an advocate of,
He's into Warhammer. I guess I don't know if anyone's into Warhammer. It's they're little miniatures that you paint, and then it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons in
because I know you went to
Baltimore.
Baltimore the
for
other
a convention.
couple months ago. And so I knew at least you had to be interested enough to take them.
Yeah. Well, I went down with another father and 4 boys who were all into the same thing. But it was interesting when we got down there. There were a lot of people that were almost my age that were still acting like teenagers. And
I think things
carrying
like that don't have
banners
an
and what have
age
you.
barrier.
Yeah.
If you're a real collector of an item, there's no barrier what, who, what, when, Look how many people still, Elvis Presley, he's back again. He got a whole new audience.
Okay.
The same thing, and yet the old people never, no, when I say old, I mean older group of people never left. And it's something people, they either like this or they, ooh,
Careful there, Betty.
careful with that, or not like it. And so I want to tell you, ask you a little more about this
Sure.
because it's really good. Can you, I guess you can make it anyway. You could make it without tomatoes, but that's half the thing.
And another variation, I've put some, maybe like a half a cup of pale dry sherry in it. It gives it a nice taste.
With green pepper rings?
Sometimes I chop up green pepper and put it in it.
Because I like green
It's
peppers.
virtually, they're actually little miniature meatloafs, and everyone's family has their own recipe.
Meatloaf recipe. Could you make this in a big meatloaf?
I have,
You
yeah.
have, and it works.
It works out good. Yeah, but I'll like double the recipe. And then
Make
we
a
have
big one.
leftovers for the beginning of the week. Yeah.
Because it's a tasty dish, and it's a little different. It's not heavy, not beef, nothing against beef. I don't want this show to be sued because we said beef is bad. I didn't say that. It's different than beef, and it's just something different. No, I like to try things different, even though maybe I only tried them once. I've even tried crocodile.
Oh.
Crocodile tastes like tough chicken. So if I want to eat chicken,
Why
tough
not eat
chicken,
chicken?
I mean, I eat tough chicken.
Why not
Why am
eat
I eating
chicken, yeah.
crocodile? I don't see the...
Well, my kids used to see the animals going to the packing houses over around Harleysville and Hatfield. And when they were young, they used to want to set the animals free. They wanted to hijack a truck and let the cows loose and let the pigs loose and everything. So as time went on, my daughter, who now is 17 and a half, decided she didn't approve of the slaughter of these animals. And when she would go to eat something, she would think about that constantly and couldn't eat it.
Well, when I was little, which I'm not sure how old I was, but I was young, there used to be a meat abattoir up on 123 south of Pottstown.
Right.
And it was called Detweiler's, and they would slaughter meat and pack it and dress it and everything. And I could stand for hours watching them clonk these animals over the head and do what they have to do. If you made me do that today, I'd probably have a screaming fit because I wouldn't even want to go near them. It's not there anymore, by the way, so no one has to protest,
Right.
and it's long gone. But sometimes as kids, things change. As you get older, you sort of refine them about how you feel about things and doing them, and so I know what she's talking about. I couldn't go near them doing that again today.
Well, when my son was younger, he was a Tiger Scout, and
You scout for tigers?
no, it was that's pre-Cub Scout.
I know.
Okay. And part of that program was that the parent would take a month and work out a visitation somewhere. So these kids are all like first graders, and I was trying to get them into a slaughterhouse to witness the animal, just say, making meat.
Okay. The parents
And
would go.
well, it didn't work out. The companies apparently had more wisdom than I did, and they said that they would come out and do a talk at our place, but really didn't want us on site. And it wasn't until later on I realized how traumatic that would have been for some little kids to see an animal killed like that.
We always know the one that every family has a story of how somebody in that family killed Bambi's mother
Yeah.
with the car. Usually Bambi has killed the car,
Right.
but they always say, my cousin went through that when my uncle brought home a deer, the last one he brought home, I think.
Well,
She screamed and screamed.
when I cook venison at home, I always say it's Bambi's mom. Okay.
So, Bill's full of stories, and some of them
Some
we
of them
won't
you want to hear,
repeat.
and some of them you don't.
right? And some of them we get to hear, and some of them we don't.
Right.
But that's just the way it goes. But I want to thank you for taking time. This is your own personal day.
Yes.
You're taking off for this. Well, I got to go into work, but I still have a late day today, so I'm okay. And I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to thank you, Bill, very much for taking
welcome.
time and coming with us. And for Bill Bell and Betty Banjack, look who's cooking. Bye
Bye.
now.